Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club, the place investors go to learn tips, tricks, and stories from other investors in the field. Today we have a special guest with us, so buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, and we're live. Jason, thank you for joining us on the show. We are glad to have you. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Central California, Clovis, California, to be exact. It's if you don't know where that's at, it's near Fresno. Most people have heard of Fresno.
Yeah, okay. That's down by San Francisco, right? Ish.
No, we're good three hours from San Francisco. We're in the middle of California, in the San Joaquin Valley, the breadbasket of the world.
Nice.
If you're eating fruits or vegetables today, it's probably came from within a couple hour radius of me.
That's a beautiful country, and it's great for real estate. You're in the perfect area.
Yes, I am.
All right, so let's just get going here. To give everybody an idea of who you are and where you're from, why don't you just say that, who you are, where you are from, and how you kind of got into real estate.
My name is Jason Nenadov. I am the broker of equity assets real estate. I'm from all over, born in Ohio. Moved to California when I was about 5, and been here ever since in a few different areas of the state. And that's basically it. I'm one of 7 kids. I'm right in the middle, the middle child, if you will.
Big family.
Yes.
And how'd you get into real estate in the first place?
When I was younger, my dad started investing in real estate. He had kidney failure, was kind of out of work, but he was able to leverage some of the properties he owned and acquire more. And he had over, I would say over 10 properties at one point. And so that kind of turned me on to real estate. And that's basically why I got my license. Right
on. So that's how you got in. So kind of tell people, what do you do right now? What's your niche in real estate investing specifically?
I deal primarily in residential real estate, where I'm kind of like a full service concierge broker, handle buyers and sellers. As far as the investing side goes, help people find good investments to make them some money and to give them a retirement, down the road.
Very nice. So you kind of work with, you are the broker that works with real investors. So investors come to you, they're like, hey man, I need a flip, I need a buy and hold, I need a commercial property. Can you help me find it?
I definitely can. And I'm not specifically only working with investors. I'll work with any buyer and seller, real estate, but yeah, I have an investor that is very active and has been doing this for 20 years. And so he'll use anybody that brings him a deal. So I'm actively hunting down deals for him and trying to find ones that he can turn and make a profit on. So.
Nice. So how do you go about that? Like, how do you go about finding the perfect deal for this? Is it only one investor, or do you have multiple investors that you're kind of sourcing deals for?
I would say one at this caliber, but there's, obviously there's people that are just looking for like a rental type properties. He's probably the main flipper that I'm working with right now.
Oh, he's a flipper. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has, he does buy and holds too, but his bread and butter, what he spends most of his time on is finding properties, improving them, and then making a quick profit on them by putting them back on the market.
Nice. That's how I first got into real estate myself. It's a rough. You really got to know. You got to have a lot of capital to do it that way, but that's fun. So yeah, how do you find these properties? Like, what does he give you criteria? Do you just get them off the MLS? What's the way that you come about these properties, and kind of what's the criteria that you use to find them?
Primarily, so far, it's been on the MLS, and I've only been working with this guy since the beginning of 2020. So obviously I have the MLS access in front of me every day, and I'm combing it for undervalued properties that are listed below market value because of their condition. Mm-hmm. Those are the ideal ones he's looking for. And his criteria changes depending on what the market's doing. When COVID hit, he was only looking for stuff under 250,000 because that's the hot market now. Is the
Under
first time buyer market
250 in California. That's a hard thing to find, isn't it?
Well, we're not priced like the Bay Area and LA. Our prices are much more affordable here in the Central Valley. So,
gotcha. Okay. So this and you only work in that area, or do you work all across California?
I'm licensed throughout the state, so I can sell anything in the state of California. It's just a matter of where my clients are coming from. So if there's a need outside of my local area, I can serve that need. I'm part of the Cal Regional MLS, which is the largest MLS in California, has over 90,000 real estate agents, and it covers most of California.
Nice. Very cool. So you find the leads. You have this one investor that you're mainly working with. You find the leads for him through the MLS. Is there any, and you're only looking for under 250,000, is there any specific criteria that you think is unique kind of to your area, or that is unique to this investor, something that the listeners can kind of take away and be like, that's a really good criteria to be looking for when you're looking at flips?
Well, I wouldn't say he's the typical investor. A lot of investors are go in and do as little as they can and try and turn the quickest buck, and they might take more risks as a result. But he wants to make a minimum of 20,000 on a deal and have a $20,000 cushion in case when he starts opening the house up and finds other things that are wrong, that don't meet the eye when you walk through it, then he's not losing out on deals and losing money. In order to stay in business, he's got to make money on these things. So he has a different criteria than a lot of other investors out there.
Oh wow, 20,000 on a flip. That's interesting. I mean, I'm in the Seattle market, and so that would be considered pretty low for a profit for flip, especially the margins that you're talking about. And so the ARV on a $250,000 flip or purchase, what would that usually be? What would it turn out to be down there? Is it about 350?
I mean, it all depends. And this criteria is just now when the virus hit, he changed, and so he's looking to make a bigger spread on bigger deals when the market is moving on all cylinders, so to speak. So,
right.
With people being out of work, he's a little more concerned with turning properties quickly, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't like to have them have multiple properties sitting on the market and having to manage those for 6-12 months. It becomes a nightmare. So
gotcha. So you guys have seen you have seen a downturn since COVID?
Downturn in what sense?
In reduction in price?
Certain properties, more of the luxury market, the higher end market, I believe has been coming down. And also the number of transactions have been down because for a month or two, buyers and sellers were not wanting to do anything. So definitely slowed down. I wouldn't say that market dipped tremendously. Definitely the first time buyer market is still very strong and competitive.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing up here in Seattle as well. I bet I can speak for everybody that we are excited for this thing to be over. It's going to be good once the doors open and we can get back to normal. So I'm gonna change gears here and kind of go away from just your business and how it works, and I kind of want to hear a little bit more about your experience. So kind of what's been like the most difficult thing that you've experienced growing your business as a broker, and kind of how did you pivot to overcome that difficulty?
I think the difficult thing would kind of be I kind of consider myself a sole proprietor. I mean, I've got a few agents under me, but they've got other jobs, so they only do a little bit of real estate, every year.
Yep.
So I think the biggest challenge is just is scaling what I do, and I kind of have my hands in everything from A to Z, and so The challenge would be pulling back from some of those responsibilities and just focusing more on lead generation or finding deals.
Gotcha. You mean lead generation for finding new clients?
Yeah, new clients, new properties for investors, all of the above.
And what have you kind of found that has given you the most momentum in that area?
I can't say I've found anything specifically yet, but I'm constantly looking. And I mean, the hard part is knowing where to spend your money on marketing that has a return,
Yep.
on investment, and you're not just blowing your dollars. So that's the tricky part, and there's nothing's guaranteed. So
Yep.
I'm
So
not.
what in that area, what have you found has given you the best ROI for your marketing spend?
Well, a lot of things are hard to track. I mean, I've got some people helping me with marketing and branding. Just taking myself away from some of that because it's easy to get loaded down with all the details, with sending counter offers, with uploading listings, with promoting yourself on social media. And so I've kind of been experimenting with letting go of some of the reins as far as social media goes, and letting some other people, put my name, face, and company out there for me. Because I can't be everywhere, at one time. It gets pretty difficult, especially with 3 little kids and a spouse that works. So
That's a full house. So what, you hire somebody to do marketing for you? Is that you don't do it yourself?
I just have some virtual assistants working on that stuff for me. So nobody in-house. I'm trying to avoid employees for as long as I can. So no problem with 1099 people under me, but I don't want to mess with payroll tax and all that kind of stuff. So
I don't blame you. So are you focused more on like digital marketing, or are you focused more on print marketing or billboards? What's your bread and butter there?
I would say more digital.
Digital?
Yeah.
Facebook, Google?
Yeah. I've done some blogging. So I've got, a trail of that. If people want to look me up, they can see articles from 10 years ago that I wrote. So
that's great. That's the great thing about digital, is that it just hangs out.
Yeah.
You do it once and it's there for as long as you keep paying the fee.
Exactly.
They keep the website up. So that's great. All right. So that's kind of about the most difficult thing. What is the thing that you've enjoyed the most about growing your real estate business?
Just helping more people. I mean, the more people I can help, I think the better I feel. Just being able to work and be productive and provide for the family, and help people achieve the goal that they are trying to achieve. I mean, that's what feels like success to me. So the more people I get to help and interact with and meet and become friends with over time, a lot of my clients become friends, and will use me for future real estate deals down the road. So that's what I enjoy.
Yep. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things too about real estate, is it's 100% relationship based. And so, I mean, just like you said, you start a relationship in 2005, and 5 years later, it's grown into a real relationship, and you're getting consistent business from them, and it's a win-win situation. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So take me back. You may have one of these, you may not, but what is, since you're not really, you're more on the support side of real estate investing, but what would be your favorite, I suppose, sale? Or the question that I would like to ask is, what's your favorite project, and why was that your favorite project? How did it go, etc. But I guess, what was your favorite transaction that you've done so far?
Well, I could share one that I've done in early 2020 for my investor. It was a house that was definitely underpriced in MLS. I mean, I could tell that right off the bat. So I immediately shared that with him, and we went to see it. And it was an elderly couple's home, and they'd gone on to assisted living, and the family was selling the home. And it's just a unique property. There was a Fresno famous architect that designed it. It was like Adobe brick. The whole thing was like brick construction. But it had a flat roof. It kind of looked like a bomb shelter or the Alamo or something. Some compound on the outside, But it just had so much history from just the personal property in the backyard. Like a 1922 Model A car frame, all rusted.
That's cool.
And just the amount of history that was there, and it was almost an acre lot, so it was kind of fun having a bigger parcel, and just seeing the transformation of that now. We were up against 10 to 15 other offers, and my investor put in a bid over 50,000 over list price, and ended up as the winning bidder. So,
oh wow!
And I've just been able to see him transform the place and totally renovate it from top to bottom. So it should be listed. I should have it listed at some point this summer when he feels the timing's right to put it back on the market. So
that's great. And that's the best thing about flips too, is like, you're really going to see the transformation. You get to see the horrible house that you bought and then tear it down to the bones, and then you get to see it once it's done. So that's a fun thing about that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to document some of that because I know that people like to see that kind of stuff. I mean, everyone's into HGTV and, Flip's house and all that kind of stuff. So people that aren't doing real estate or flips, I mean, in general, people are interested in what you do for your business. I'm interested in learning what other people do for their work that, I have no idea about. So they'll tune in and watch and comment. So.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So switching gears again, I kind of want to know a little bit about you and how you get the most out of your day and your own personal stories. So kind of tell me the habits that contribute the most to your success as an investor, or just in general.
Well, my day-to-day is always changing. I mean, obviously with COVID, it's changed a lot with having my whole family home 24/7.
Yep. I can feel you there, man. I can feel you there.
I have a lot less privacy and peace of mind during this time, but full commission sales is definitely tough. It can definitely be a roller coaster, as most people know. And that's probably why a lot of people, stay away from it. So I think it's just important when things aren't going well, or you're getting frustrated or discouraged, just to have some good habits to keep you going and keep you plugging away. Things like just a good diet and physical activity, maybe a gym routine and that sort of thing. I think it's important to have those outlets, especially when, you perceive things aren't going very well.
Yep. No, I'm the same way. If I don't get a workout, I mean, my girlfriend can tell you this, it's not a pretty thing. You gotta, especially now that we're all like, cordoned off inside, being able to get outside and just get the sun in your face is very, very helpful. That's for sure. So if you can go back in time to when you were first starting out in real estate, like your very first day, you can give that person one piece of advice. What would that piece of advice be?
I would say just be tenacious and don't get discouraged if someone tells you no. I've heard no just means next opportunity. So just keep plugging away. I mean, that's what sales is about. It's getting multiple no's because you'll get a yes eventually. So it's just about keep moving on, keep pressing on.
Yep. Couldn't say it any better myself, especially in real estate. You're going to get a lot of no's. In fact, when I first started, I still have the numbers. I think it was like we sent out 144 or 134 offers, like written offers, and we only got one deal out of that. And I almost quit at that point, but I'm glad I didn't because we kept going. So
wasn't it Robert Kiyosaki that says you look at 100 deals, you analyze 10, and you make an offer on one, or something like that?
Is that makes me feel better, because at that point I felt like, wow, I'm just not doing well here. But it's true. If you just keep going, you just keep keep knocking on the doors, keep sending out offers. Eventually something's going to work. So I like that little piece. Okay, so for everybody who's listening, if you'd like to share this information, I should have asked you this before we jumped on the show, but if somebody would like to get in contact with you, how would they go about doing that?
You can look me up at equityassetsrealestate.com. You can call or text at 559-246-8991, or email me my full name, which is jasonnenadov@gmail.com. So that's JASONNENADOV@gmail.com.
Perfect. All right. And do you have any last words for everybody who's listening?
Just keep on keeping on, and focus on what you want to work on to be better for tomorrow.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you very much for having you on. I hope you find success down there in California. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. For more information on how to work with the host, Gabe Peterson, go to www.therealestateinvestingclub.com. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next episode. All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.